Hello, welcome back. So we're going to try and do some Puzzle Rush today. Let's see if we can get above a decent score. Get on the leaderboard. Might take C6 maybe. Let's Queen G7. Takes Rook. Okay, let's just keep going. Oh shit, what's this? There's no check. Maybe Bishop D4 is the move, right? Kind of a tricky one, that one, I think, for an early one. See, this one, I don't know. Again, some of them are quite tough. Queen C6, I guess. Yeah, I'm slow today. I need to speed this bad boy up. This one. Ah, you friggin' idiot. Alright, let's just go there. Yeah, that's the problem. Like when you start getting them wrong, or when you start panicking about the time. It's like the worst thing you can do at Puzzle Rush. You just got to forget about the time and just try to do them to the best of your ability. But ironically, it is also about the time, right? This one. Rook E8 maybe. D6. Rook E2. No, Bishop F5. I'm trying to play with the black pieces there, which is stupid. Yeah, it was a very poor attempt. Right, we'll try again. We'll keep going. Okay, rook takes. Come back to bishop. Queen E7, mate. Queen E7. It's this one. Queen E8 is this one. Queen F7. Rook E3. I must admit, I don't know about you, but I prefer I would say that I prefer chess.com to Lead Chess, just because the graphics are better. Obviously, they've got more money they can spend on it. But that's just my personal opinion. Not everyone would agree with me. See, yeah, we can win a piece, right? Okay, so maybe you just take. It's like, Bishop F5 is wrong. What is this? I'm not getting this. Because if I go Bishop F5, no, I don't get this one at all. Bishop H3, but why is that good? Yeah, fucking hell, man, that was tough. So what I'm going to do actually is analyze the ones I'm getting wrong afterwards, and then we're going to have a look at why I got them wrong. Okay, so I did very badly there, right? Let's have a look at that one. Okay, so play problem. So King B1, so what is the solution? So I couldn't see anything here. I couldn't see a useful check. I see like Rook H8 is a move, but then they got Bishop takes, right? Ah, it's still, anyway, it's Rook H8 because you can take with a king. It's actually quite simple, yeah. So then there was also, this one was wrong. Well, this one should be fairly straightforward, I think, if you start thinking about it. Yeah, No, you just go queen b6 check. Okay, and then there's this one as well. So he took. So what did I do? I went queen d4, right? Maybe just take. No, it's also wrong. So what is this? Oh, queen a5. Yeah, maybe I'm not sharp today. Right, we'll play again. Just try and. Sometimes the best way to do it is just like don't go too quickly and just, ultimately just think what is the best move every time. That is what you're trying to find, right? And sometimes you can overthink it. That's kind of what I've been doing so far today. So let's try and up the standard. Maybe this. Bishop here, check. Oh no, hang on, bishop g7. It lets me play that move. G4. Good, as bishop takes e3. Yeah, no, you just take this guy, right? Okay, so reasonable start, not great. Need to speed it up, really. So when the queen, knight takes, take on h2. I think on chess.com, my favourite things to do are probably play stuff like Puzzle Rush and also play against the bots. And the main reason for that is it's not the anxiety and the nerves you find when you compete against other people, right? It's just more relaxing that way. Maybe king c7. Let's say queen h2 maybe. Bishop a5 is strong. Queen e5. Okay, if I go rook c3, how good is that? a4. Okay, the knight f4 and I thought it was knight f4 and knight e6, but maybe I missed something. Okay, knight e3 maybe. And rook g2, bishop g3, mate. You can almost calculate that. There's this. And take the rook. So queen f8 is maybe the move, right? So I've got the 40, which isn't bad. Can we do better than 40? If queen g4, king g2. There's rook g8 maybe. And then simply knight f2 looks strong, right? So maybe just take. There's bishop d5 maybe. Right. So queen g4. There's knight f3. Knight f3 and rook g2? No. It's something to do with. There's also queen h3, right? No, it wasn't knight f3. It's very tempting to go knight f3 there, but that's wrong. h3 maybe? Yeah, so this is a key position. So g3. Oh, king f3 might be the move. Yeah. Maybe it's e5. Okay, you want knight c5 ideally. King f2 maybe. It's queen e3 and then if f3. You don't really want to take. You could go king f1. Maybe you just take with a pawn, yeah? Queen d8. Right, take here. Then it's a question of where do you go, yeah? Right, so the natural one is to take there. Okay, I got 52, that's not bad. Where am I on the leaderboard? I'm in second. Wow, there's someone on 59, that's crazy. Who is this guy? What's his blitz? 20. Yeah, not bad at blitz. How do we get back to... Alright, we'll go back. Okay, we'll try again. I find it's quite addictive though, Puzzle Rush. It's like you want to really limit it, right? Yeah, I don't know how these guys are getting. I feel like I'm doing pretty well, and they're just marmalising myself. Maybe they're just more naturally gifted than I am. That might be something to do with it. But yeah, it's puzzling how they're able to get such high scores. I'm doing my best, and I just can't get near to their score. Maybe it's still a bit depressing as well, right? Okay, there's this. Also, I think speed is very important in this as well. Like, you know, like this. The faster you are, the more chance you've got of, you know, you just build up a bank of time, right? At the end, so you have more time. This is very important. Let's just checkmate here. We'll just take it, right? Aha. What does it want? I don't understand. Why can't you just take here? Why doesn't every move win? Okay, there's c3. There's also rook check. Well, what's the difference? Okay, here and then here. Check. So people go on about Magnus being the best of all time, which is probably quite right as well. But, you know, let's face it, when Kasparov was around, you didn't have Puzzle Rush. So there's all these ways in which chess learning and, you know, getting better at chess has improved, right? And, yeah, obviously computers. I mean, they were still an important thing in that era, but, yeah, I'm cracking up in this one. I mean, I would say that, you know, Carlsen is the best of all time, but there's always recency bias that goes into these things as well, right? The white table, we obviously have to start with this. Right, maybe rook g2 is a move. Okay, we take. Okay, queen d8. Right. If knight b5, bishop b5 check, right? I'm tempted with rook b1. I know, I think you take first, right? Then you do this. So bishop c4. There's also c4 actually. Why was c4 wrong? Because of queen a5. So bishop c4 was the correct move. What about on the other two that got wrong? See here, I went here, right, which is correct. But maybe I'm oh no, it's force checkmate because you go here and here, right? Okay, so that one. And this one should be some kind of force checkmate as well. I went here, which apparently was wrong. Oh, simply 92, mate, instantly. Because I was thinking this is double check, but it's not. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, so even playing Puzzle Battle, I find that less competitive than... Somebody made a point actually online I just wanted to talk about, which was that we're getting these... So Jordan Van Forest talked about these bad conditions that people get in tournaments. Mouselet there. I did actually genuinely mouselet, honest gov. Which is absolutely correct. You know, the conditions are quite bad. And this other guy, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. It's like starts with a V. It's like Virash Dibrashvili. I think he's from somewhere like Azerbaijan. He also mentioned before he was like talking about how in some ways it's impossible to really make money. I think he finished second though, so not sure how true that was. Anyway, yeah, he was saying that one of the main reasons why conditions are getting worse is that Indian players who are sponsored. It's quite interesting, actually. So you wanted some kind of discovered check, right? The King E1 is no good. Yeah, that's a really tricky one, actually. But you're helped by the fact you've got more material, right? Um, 96, maybe. Yeah, so I think what he says is correct in a way, you know, like basically... The black to play and win here, right? I mean, it's just check. Because you win this rook at the end. Very important. Oh, it's simply F5, is it? Take or what? Take. I've been a bit plodding in this one. Okay, we've got to give checks, right? What's our next check? Oh, because I was expecting to go to F5. Tricked me. It fucking tricked me. But you presume you actually go to G3 maybe. Or do you go to... Yeah, maybe you go... No, you can't go to G3. It's the legal move. Crazy, right? Yeah, so I think he makes a valid point. I mean, he could say it's racism to like pick on Indians or whatever, but yeah, it was a poor effort. Okay, we'll get 2 more goes at this. Probably I've been online so long already, I've already got a headache. It's only like 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I woke up about like 5 to 6. and I've been doing like, you know, chess study since then. Well, not chess study, just like stupid, like random puzzles like this. Well, I'll be doing a little bit. I've watched some YouTube, to be honest. Yeah, so I think the point that, I was trying to say was, so these guys, a little bit like in a way, like Indian players back in the day used to play the British Championships, right? And eventually, it reminds me of that a little bit. That I meant to go bishop. I meant to go queen d1 originally, which was a mistake. Then I changed it and realised I had to go bishop f4, but my queen was on the. Yeah, I want to live in a world without mouse slips. Bishop e3 was better. Okay, I'm going to quit there because I'm not doing very well. What I'm going to try is I'm going to try survival. So let's try survival. Let's try some survival mode, and then we can talk a bit more. So yeah, so back in the day, like you used to get these Indian guys come over to play the British, right? So Anand played, for example. Maybe Praveen Phipsay, people like that. Barua. It was, I mean, one of the first GMs. The first GM was actually Anand. First Indian GM. One of the first GMs was a guy called Barua. I played him. He was quite a decent player. Was obviously like a GM, right? Is it Queen E6, right? So, but then, like later on, so talking about 1990s. Okay, so if I take there, he's got some checks, right? So what's your... you just take the queen, yeah, because I'm looking at taking the bishop. That's what I like about it. There's no time limit. So you take as long as you want. It's much more relaxing. So just go check and then... Yeah, so I played Sasha Kiran, for example, in 1997 British in Hove. I lost in 17 moves. Crazy, right? And he was only 17 or something like this. Maybe I lost in 23 moves, but I remember losing quite quickly. And he was only 17. He played a rapid play before, and he was a nice kid, actually. Very talented. Super talent, you know. The King's Indian, and I went wrong. I realised we're kind of entering a new era. But the thing was that, so Rook G2 is a move. Do they have any useful checks? They've got that check. Okay, so how do I escape? I guess you go to B2, right? You must go to B2, surely. Yeah. Yes, but then obviously people found out that people like Hari Krishna and Sasha Kiran were, you know, they would get some of the bigger prizes. I mean, the one who won it was a guy called Abji Kunte. He won it when it was in Edinburgh. But, so I think it starts with Queen F1 and then maybe Queen F2. Because if they go Queen G2, you got Bishop G3, right? Maybe that's winning, I don't know. It's got to start with this. Then Bishop G3. Yeah, but now you go Queen E1 and Queen E4, right? Yeah, so obviously they're winning like some of the bigger prizes, and people like Chris Ward, John Ems, myself, you know, I wasn't really behind this letter, but I remember Chris Ward wrote a letter, and he got a few of the other English GMs to sign it, saying we don't really want these Indian guys playing in our British Championships, because you know, they're coming over, they're getting sponsored to play, right? That's their conditions. They're getting sponsored by the Indian government. I don't know how much they were getting paid. But, you know, we're not necessarily, I don't think people like me and Chris Ward, we were really getting conditions at that point. I think someone like Michael Adams would have been getting conditions. But I remember chatting to Abjeet after he won the British, and he said that, you know, like, if you win £5,000, that's a lot of money back in India, right? That goes a long way, right? You know, that's more than like a yearly salary. So it was a lot of money. Now but that wasn't necessarily changing how we were getting conditions. It was slightly different because it was basically, you know, it was just making it more difficult for us to win a prize. So the fact that they were getting conditions wasn't necessarily changing our conditions. I guess you could say. I think that Reuben was partly behind getting these Indian guys to play in the British, Stuart Reuben, because he would get these kind of trips over there. You know, so he didn't really care about professional players. He just really cared about, you know, himself. But yeah, anyway, so anyway, this guy obviously on Twitter has said that this is a different situation in a way, because even though it's related to these Indian guys, it's what he's saying is it's changing the conditions, because these guys, even people like Aragazzi, he claims that Aragazzi's not getting any conditions, which I find hard to believe. I assume he probably is getting some conditions. Okay, H6 is a move because you got to win this night. Okay, but now you can take on D7, right? I don't see what they've got that's so special. So they've got the 36, no mistakes, but obviously famous last words, right? So you can take this guy. But now you've got to be careful, because you can't take on A1, because, so I presume you start with check. Right, now what is the move? It's also Queen G2 check. Queen G2? Right, yeah. Rook E8, mate. Okay, there's stuff with Knight A5 and Queen E4 check. If Knight A5 does Queen B4. Maybe you go Knight A5, take the bishop, and then go Queen G2 at the end. Yeah, so I assume you start with this move. Yeah, so he's basically saying that, oops. That was a bit careless. Yeah, I'm sort of rushing this. It's kind of like a little bit. Okay, let's think about this one. Obviously, a lot of the players, you're saying like the Indian GMs, they'll play for peanuts or nothing, basically. Yeah, a little bit like that in the coaching world as well. That you know, you might get a 2,500 Indian GM. You know, I'm not saying Indian GMs are two a penny, but there's a lot of them now because, you know, the whole Indian, it's just a massive population in India for starters, and obviously they've got a very good setup over there in terms of coaching. Obviously they play with each other. Huge advantage. One of the huge advantages they have, which I think helped with Gukesh as well, was the fact they can all train together. So that's also a useful thing. So I think you start with F6 here, because if they take with a pawn, you got Queen H6, Knight F5, and then you're going to win the Queen on D2. Right. So C5 looks like that. I want to go C5, C6, C7. Yeah, I presume they're not in time to stop that. So Knight D6 looks promising, right? So what do people think about that whole situation? I might do a separate video about that, talking about that. Yeah. Eventually, I played this Alicante tournament and recently, and how I played that with Keith Arkle. is a friend of mine. We both played. We both did fairly well, but neither of us won any money, which is sad. So it's very difficult to win money in these tournaments. So knight d6 will sign the most promising way to start. Now I'm tempted with bishop h6 because it's also kind of indirectly hitting the bishop because the bishop's defended by the rook. So I'm going to try that move. Now it wants me to... also I could take, right? If I take and go knight f5, I win the queen, right? Yeah, so neither of us won a prize, right? There were 12 prizes. Now, obviously, the guy who won the prize, the top prize, was a few people won a prize in that tournament, was this Russian guy, Kirill Alexenko, who's played in the Canada's before. Very strong player. So, obviously, it is possible to win prize money there, right? He won like 5,000 euros. It's not like it's impossible. That's a decent wage, isn't it? You know, you're playing a chess tournament, you're going away with 5,000 euros. That's a pretty decent wage, right? So it's not like it's impossible. You just have to play at very high levels. I wouldn't agree that you have to be 2,700 plus, because that guy's won like decent prize there. Then I think he went on Menorca, did well there as well. So in a space of about a month or less than a month, he's coming away with quite a lot of dosh, right? However, obviously for a player like myself who's 24-15 or whatever, 24, well going up a little bit, but going up to heights of 24-21. Well, obviously you start with taking, right? Then you can take this guy. Oh, maybe this is the key, right? Yeah, then it's very difficult to win a prize, I would say, or you'd have, you know, overall you'll make a loss because that tournament cost me several £100. Now, someone like Alexenko who plays enough of those tournaments, he's going to make a profit. He might not win a prize every tournament, but he's going to overall he's going to win, you know, quite a lot of money. But for someone like myself, well, I'll start with taking. Taking looks like the most promising move. The problem is Queen f5 you want to play and Queen g6 with a rook. So I've got to come up with plan B. As knight e4 is normally good to bring your knight into the game. So maybe knight e4 is the killer blow. Now, it looks like Queen f5, Queen d5, Bishop f5 is winning, right? Well, I always hate these ones because I never would know which way I'm going. It looks like you should take the pawn to begin with, but then they'll go g4, right? Is there anything like c5 takes a4, g4, a5, g3, a6, g2, a7, g1, a8, they go king f7, I don't see why that's winning. So there's, no, that was wrong, it's careless. Yeah, so it's an unfortunate situation, but obviously you're looking at that tournament, I'm 48th seed, right? And I finished 26th. It still wasn't good enough to win a prize. So, you know, I'm a GM. I'm 48th seed. I'm quite a decent player. I'm coming away with no money. So for most of the players in these tournaments, you can't make any money. There weren't actually that many Indian players there. It was Aliban is a really good player. I drew with him. He's very strong. He was 2,700, but because of deflation, he's fallen below that, I think, partly due to deflation. Let's take the knight. Okay, do we want king e7? What's the difference? King f7. Oh, king f7. There might be a rook d1 later, so we need this. Right. If queen g7, I got knight g6, but then you could just. Oh, okay, so to come back, right? There is queen h7. If you take, yeah, and then take. Bishop c4, they're going to take here, right? I'm not seeing what, normally you see a move straight away. There's also this bishop I can include in the game as well. I could also castle. castle. They haven't got queen e4, but they can take with a pawn. If bishop b4 might be the move. Now this, right? So ideally you want to go here, but then they're going to throw in some kind of check. Alright. If I take and queen f1, is that a winning rook and pawn endgame? Doesn't look like it is. I can take and go h6 maybe. We've got the 50, that's not bad. As queen c4, but he goes back to b1, but is there anything else other than queen c4? I'm not seeing any other moves, so we'll try that. There is queen d3. Queen d3, what? If you move the king, you take on f. Then you take on f4. If you move the rook, I presume there's a nasty discovered. Okay, one move that springs to mind is knight g5, right? Which threatens like nasty stuff. They have rook e7. I presume this is strong, right? Now I can just go knight e6. Is there any? Always look around. See if I think it must be knight e6. So I must be winning. What? So why doesn't that work? So knight e6 looks better for white to me, but I suppose they have queen e7 at the end, and actually is not so clear, right? Because they've got two pawns for that Phoenix game. So there must be something even stronger than oh, knight 7 is the move. That's really careless. Yeah, knight 7, queen e8. I should, yeah, always look around for other moves, right? Okay, we're going to play again. And do my boring diatribe about what a waste of time it is to play in international tournaments, right? So basically, yeah, the guy's saying Indian players are, because they're playing for peanuts, or willing to play for peanuts, because they're sponsored by their government. That's what he's saying. Or they're sponsored by somebody, you know, like maybe business or whatever. Someone like Aragazzi, obviously, he can probably make a good living out of chess. He'll win a decent prize. It doesn't necessarily need conditions. He's going to like do well anyway. He's going to get invited to top tournaments over the next few years. He's already one of the best players in the world. However, for some of the other Indian players, they would be reliant on sponsorship. Very much so. Rook d6 is possible, and a rook d4 is checkmate. I'm almost mouse slipping. Right, let's get a thermal wedge on the mouse. Right. So I feel like I want to take there. I do have a good follow-up with bishop h3, so I'm seeing a good follow-up with this. Okay, so now I think you just do this and then you queen first, right? So start with a check, then take, and then take. That was rook c8, because, yeah, that traps the queen, right? Aha, does rook b1, does that do anything? It might well do, it wins the queen, right? Yeah, this one's quite simple. Right, so b4 is not going to be quick enough, so we need to bring this king over. Right, queen d2, queen f2 is quite a simple one. Aha, there's rook h2, right? I mean, rook b4 is ideally what you want to play. Can I now? Yeah, I can take this way. Okay, so rook b3 looks favourite. Okay, this queen e5 and then... Right, so it wants knight g5. I think you go rook c6, right? It's knight e7 possibly. Okay, it's got to be this. Okay, we've hit a roadblock. I don't know what this one is. There's rook g6. You always look for checks and captures. Rook g6 might be correct. Rook g6, king takes. You do have like rook d6 might be very strong. There's also queen g4. The queen g4, if king f6, rook d6, king e7. Where's the mate, right? Oh, I think maybe that is mating. Because if rook d6, king g6, rook check, you do have f6, additional idea. So I'm wondering if, I think it's definitely rook takes, it's just a question of which move you play then. So if you go queen g4, king h6, rook d6 is false checkmate. If you go queen g4, king f6, rook d6, king there, queen d7, king f8, queen d8, king here, queen f6. It's going to be checkmate, so you start with this. Okay, got up to 40, no mistakes. So one thing is idea is to take rook e1, which looks very strong actually. There's queen e6 checkmate. And knight f3 is very strong, queen e1, that's game over. Right, so the first thing is b6, because you got to cut down on the kings. So your first thought is the king has got a flight square, so 44, no mistakes. Good. Rook b5, I'm on a roll now. Right, there's queen b7 and then, yeah. Okay, that's check. There's e5. I presume you take. What? Oh no, it's check. I forgot. This is careless. Speeding too fast. Give me a warning for speeding, right? That's I promise you get too cocky. You think, well, that wins, that wins, that wins, that wins. And then you forget to actually check it. Okay, so what are my options here? This queen check looks like a good option. But then he goes here. Rook f6 is a very obvious option. Rook f6, then rook f7. So what is the win, right? Feel tired actually. I got up too early. So what do people think about all that? Do they think that that's the Indian players are bringing down the conditions for everyone else? I mean, my personal feeling is, you know, it's not the fault of the Indians. That's my personal feeling. Yeah, it's not great that they're playing maybe for nothing, but you know, that's not their fault that they're getting sponsored by companies. If that turns the chess world into an Indian domination, and it's only Indian people can afford to play, well, so what? You know, that's life, I'm afraid. But as somebody mentioned in comments, you know, there's nothing. Somebody said that part of the problem is professional players don't do enough to promote chess. This guy's an IM, so he knows about chess, right? And he said people don't do enough to promote chess. I'm not sure about that. I can't see the winner. Oh, it is queen h6 because you could take on f6 at the end, right? Okay, so ideally you'd go queen d8, right? Oh, maybe it's g5, hg, then queen d8. Ah, very clever. You're using the en passant rule against your opponent. I mean, there is d6, like how they escape in King f8. Okay, we got the 49, but we've already made an error, which is not great. So it feels like this. Okay, might not be. It must be this, surely. Because this is a very powerful check. Oh, no, you haven't got rook. Oh, I thought this was mate. Oh, you can go here and. I thought you could use the rook. I was being very lazy again, but then I noticed you can't. You couldn't use the rook. Okay, so we're close to winning a piece. Like knight e5's a move. Because if they move the bishop, you're going to take the check. So what is wrong with knight e5? That looks winning. There's also knight e3. Oh, but knight e3, they have a possible defense with bishop b3. So I presume it's this. And then you just take here, right? Okay, this one's tricky as well, right? So yeah, I think this guy was saying that it's clear what Nakamura was saying to candidates. He's saying, you know, that a lot of these guys, they're not like, you know, they could spend some time making YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and they're not doing it. It's only me that's doing all this kind of stuff. Okay, there is knight c4 and some kind of rook to d1, so I'm presuming it's not this rook because of queen e6. So I'm presuming it's this rook. Unless he's got a star defense. No. So rook c1 looks like the most tempting move because you're then, if you go for any checks here, they're going to come back with a rook. So you start with this. Now, what is the idea here? If e6, they can just take it. Ah, there's some kind of queen b8 and then e6. This one looks tough as well. They do seem to get very tough once you get past 50. And king h3 is like a move, but I can't see anything wrong with king h3. If you go king h1, he's got queen h6 though. So maybe the idea is to go king h3 so that if... Oh, no, I can't take because of the mate, but I do have rook g1 though. Rook g1 might be strong. I'm up to 54. Right, bishop e3 looks like the most natural move, right? And then the question is, what do you do now? Now you can take that, or you can also take on e4. They're going to take on f8, but then you have king f8 maybe. Aha. Fairly simple that one in a way, you know. So, okay, I've got various tries here. I could go queen h3, looks very strong. I think it might be queen h3, because if g3, rook g3, I think wins. So, queen h3, g3, rook g3, hg3, queen g3, king h1, queen h3, and they can't go knight h2 because of queen takes c3, or rook g8. So I think it's this move. Yeah, there's always this queen is always hanging. So one idea here is to go rook c7. So it looks like you should throw in a check. So the question is, what is their defense after, say, rook c7? Or what's the difference? Oh, rook b8 and rook c8, then they have g6 ideas. So maybe it's better to go rook c7, because then that kind of kills their g6 ideas, is maybe the argument, right? And it wouldn't have bishop e7 check if you went to g5. So I'll try this move. Because now I can go bishop e3, I think. And that should be... Or is it bishop c3? No, bishop e3, I think, right? Yeah, this is always their defense, right? Ah, because if you take, then they have... Then I have rook d5, which is quite an important defence. But I think you can go king g5. And then just take, yeah. Yeah, I think as far as the Indians are concerned, just let them get on with what they're doing. It isn't necessarily going to affect your conditions. To the extent you think, if organisers want to do that, and they want to invite loads of Indians to play, and then so be it. That's their prerogative. That's their choice, right? It's not the Indians' fault. It's the organisers' fault, if anyone. If they're willing to just pay everybody on the cheap, and that is undercutting the market for other players. You can't blame the players, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, as far as promoting chess through YouTube, I'm not necessarily sure that that's going to get sponsors in. It is a problem with chess. Chess just doesn't generate enough money. It's not like football, which generates TV money. That's part of the reason why, there's no money in chess. Okay, so what are my options here? But there's also moves like knight d3, right? Maybe knight d3 is very strong with the simple idea that you're kind of trapping the queen. If they go queen g5, you go queen c6, queen at a8. Feels a bit vague though. Then they got moves like knight d4, right? Other than queen d5, right? If you go knight e6, they go bishop e6. Queen c6 check. King e7. I've not seen the win there. I'm not seeing the win. So it might be something weird like knight d3. It doesn't really look very convincing to me. I'd rather go knight e6, but at queen b5 they've got king e7. So I'll try knight d3 and then queen check. So I've got the 58. Yeah, I'm quite happy about that. So I think my first thought is you want to go knight e7 because their defense to knight e7 is knight c3, but you can meet that with b4. Whereas after knight c3, after knight b4, knight c3, there's no way of winning a piece. But knight e7 might be winning a piece because rook d1 takes. They've got no great discovered check because the bishop on f5 is defended. So first thought is knight e7 is strong. Now you must take if you want to win a piece, right? Unless you go bishop g4. No, it's got to be this. So now the question is, where do you go with the king? Because if you go here, you're going to fall into this. If you go back, you fall into this. So it must be king e8, surely. Alright, so we've got the 59. Can we get to the magic 60? We've got 2 attempts. Right, this one looks tough. The problem is you start making moves like this, then you give them an idea of queen c1 as well. Although I suppose you have f4, right? But it feels like you have to do that move because otherwise they're going to go like h6. So I'll start with a check. Right, now the question is, what now? There is queen d8, but then what happens if they come back, for example? Yeah, this is a toughie. A king h6 doesn't look right because they could just take the bishop. You could move the bishop here, like bishop d7 maybe. Bishop d7 also threatens queen h8, right? The queen c1 you can always meet with f4, so that shouldn't be a problem. What's the difference between bishop? Maybe it's better to go bishop d7 because if you go bishop a4, they could play like bishop c6 or something. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing here. I don't really know. Bishops. Yeah, because if bishop d7, if they go like king g8, you have queen h6, right? I mean, I'm guessing it's bishop d7, but that might be wrong. Now you have to go f4, surely. I'd have just given away the queen. It's always helpful. Right, it's also very tough. So you want to take, right? I mean, it looks natural to take. What other move have you got? So you could take on h7, king takes, and queen h5, winning the queen. But after bishop h7, they also have king h8, but then queen h5 looks winning. So I'm winning after bishop h7, king h7, queen h5, king g8, rook f6. Is that actually winning anyway? I mean, looks good, right? Because a bishop h7, they've also got, no, king f8 is not going to work, right? Ah, but they could go king h8, but then queen h5, right? Because if queen h5 immediately, they've got g6. What happens if I go queen h3, though? Queen h3. There might be something wrong with bishop h7. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with it, but maybe they're surviving to some extent. Doesn't feel like they're surviving after bishop h7. So I'm wondering what's wrong with queen h3. Because it does look very strong. Is there anything... Oh, they got queen h4. Right. Yeah, queen h4 is a killer. So it has to be bishop h7. And then it has to be this move, right? Right. So I got out of 61, one mistake. Okay, there's queen h6, but then they go to f7. So you could force like queen h7, king e8, queen b7, that position. And then they'd either, then a queen, you go bishop b5 check. What other options do you have? Like rook h6 looks too slow. We've got queen f7. So it's got to be check, surely. Right, now I'm thinking check, queen h7, king e8, queen b7 is winning. So if I take on h5, you have bishop b5 check. Or queen c8. If they queen, I think bishop b5 is winning. So I'm presuming it's this. So 62. I managed to get to so far. Yeah, I suppose the solution to get better conditions is just to get better. But if you're already at the top of your profession, like this guy's saying, this might be like 2670 or whatever. Jordan Van Forest has been over 2700. He's below that now, but he's still very strong. Yeah, you know, it's the same for me. I mean, if I wanted more money, I needed to go into another profession, right? Like become a bank manager or something, or get better at chess. But it's not easy to get better. I'm already playing at quite a high level, right? So, you know, but if I was at this level at like bank manager or, you know, like whatever, then I'll be on a like comfortable wage, right? You know, that'd be the theory at least. Okay, so rook e1 builds up. The problem with knight c5, they have queen d4 check. The rook e1, I'm slightly concerned about how do you refute a move like king d6, for example. I'm going to try rook e1 because I'm not seeing anything else. Yeah, so king d6, this is a problem. Like, you could play queen b6, queen c5, but it's very slow. So is there anything quicker? I mean, at the moment, black doesn't have a threat, so you have a move to be creative. But what is that move? Like, where can you create threats? You could play c4, but c4 they take, right? Maybe you go c4 takes, and then you just take back with a threat of rook d1. I mean, that might be weirdly strong, right? Because you will flush the king out then. You know, so the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking c4 might be the answer. Because you can't move the knight because of queen b6 looks too slow. b5 is a move. But it feels very vague, right? b5. It might be good though. c5 really does limit their options. They must take, and then it's a question of how the bishop takes. Do they have a good defense to say I'm just threatening rook d1, or like let's say they went rook h7. I think something like rook d1, king e5, queen c7 is probably winning. Well, it looks very strong, right? It might not be king f6. How do you win there? Maybe queen f4, king g6, bishop. Yeah, it's a real head scratch. b5, but I feel like b5. So I'm going to try c4. Right. So now it looks like rook d1's to kill a blow, right? Okay, now you don't want to take because they've got mates, so it must be queen c7, right? Okay, got the 63. I'm very proud of that achievement. So it looks like check is strong. But obviously once you take the bishop, then they're going to go for the check, right? So you have to be prepared for that. Oh, I thought they were going to go rook c1. I didn't see that move at all. Through my laziness. I feel like laziness is one of the biggest issues of being a chess player. It's just pure laziness. Certainly in my case, I was very lazy. I was tired as well, right? So what's the threat? So the threat is rook c1, and then, yeah, that's a big threat, right? Now, I could play a bit like a5. Queen d6, they go rook c1. That doesn't look... Well, then king b8, though. Maybe it's just queen d6. Queen d6, rook c1, king b8. How do they refute that defense? I'm not sure they can. Because they can't get the d8, so what are they doing? Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised I got that one wrong. I think that was kind of obscure. Maybe there was some move like a5. It's getting obscured now. Now we got up to 63. It always gets... I think my best is like 66. That's all time. Okay, rook e7's a move, but rook e7 they got queen e7. Oh, okay, there's also rook e8. Rook e8, you can take on d2 sometimes, right? Like, you can't go rook e8, rook d2 because of rook e1, mate. However, you can go rook e8. Oh, rook e8, they have bishop h6. Maybe that's their defense. Bishop h6, rook d6. Yeah, I don't know. And then cd6. But cd6 is bishop f6. So rook e8, it feels like you start with rook e8, right? Ah, it's wrong. How am I doing on leaderboard? I'm way ahead. Right, let's just finish with some 5-minute. It's very addictive, all this, isn't it? Now I'm tuned up with a survival. I feel like I'm going to do well on the 3-minute. Ah! Took me too long to make that move. Yeah, a lot of tournaments. I mean, like, for example, say I wanted to play European Championships, which originally was in Israel, but they changed the venue, obviously, because Israel are kind of in a war situation. Yeah, I think something like Macedonia, or not Montenegro, sorry, maybe. This year. Somewhere like that, like Balkan states. It's probably going to cost me 1,500 to play, right? So your chess tournaments are becoming increasingly expensive. But people don't play chess for the money, really. They play chess because they love the game. That's generally the case, right? Hmm. Black to move here. I mean, you could take, right? You take? You're going to take back. But there's 9G. Oh, no, there's 9G4 then, right? I mean, there's Queen F3 as an option. Okay, there's Queen C1. Right, what do we want now? Where do we want it? Rook A2, I guess. Hmm. Yeah, maybe this. Mm-hmm. So take. Maybe take this guy, right? Uh-huh. Hmm. Take. Oh, mouse slip. Just, oh my god, the worst possible moment. Worst possible moment. That's so unlucky. Still got 53, which isn't bad, but there's always someone ahead of me. This guy this time. Well, I would have got 54, I think, if I hadn't mouse slipped, but that's it. Yeah, so I got 53. I was top. So it's easier to top the survival because the better players play the speed challenge, basically. Anyway, thanks for watching that video. Please let me know what you think about the whole situation in chess. Is it getting to the point now where it's just become too expensive to play chess? I'm interested to know what your thoughts are.